Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Rekak Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth, and who rule well. Peace and citations unto the Hakim that is spread around the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Quatas of Zion, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai with another lesson, with another video, and Lord willing, this video is edifying. Gone. So, first off, I want to start off with a medical disclaimer. You know that this channel is not a substitute for medical advice. I'm just reading articles that I come across in on the internet, and you have to advise or look for advice from your local physician. So my advice doesn't replace that. You see, so I'm not a medical doctor or anything. So that being said, the plagues and the pestilences are sent. That's what the title of this video is named. The plagues and the pestilences are sent. This is Exodus 9 verse 14. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. Gone. So the Most High spoke this in the time of Exodus. That was in the time that the pharaohs were ruling. And now the Most High still uses the same methods to show the people that he is the power of this earth, that he is the God that created everything. Let me see. Let me go to a quick precept. Let me go to Baruch 2, verse 2. This is Baruch 2, verse 1. Therefore the Lord had made good his word, which he pronounced against us, and against our judges that judged Israel, and against our kings, and against our princes, and against the men of Israel and Judah, to bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses. God. So, first off, I just read in Exodus that the Most High is bringing the pestilences and the plagues on the Pharaoh, and also the people that want to join onto the Pharaoh, and who are the head and the main characters in the Bible, in this movie that the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai is playing. The head character are the Israelites. And if the Israelites join themselves onto the wicked, onto the ungodly, they are going to get the punishment of the ungodly, because we have been given the light of health, the light for health, which is the scriptures, and we disobeyed that. So we have to be punished, But the ones that repent in the end, they are not going to be punished like the ones that don't repent. Let me go quick. Light. Health. This is Sirach 17, verse 26. Turn again to the Most High, and turn away from iniquity, for he will lead thee out of the darkness into the light of health. And hate thou abomination vehemently. You see, so we have to return, we have to repent, we have to return to the Most High, Otherwise, we are going to be judged just like how the ungodly are going to be judged. You see? So we that heard the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, we repented and returned and started to following the light of health, which is these scriptures, and we turned away from our iniquity, which iniquity is sin upon sin. We try our best not to sin, you see. For he will lead thee out of the darkness into the light of health. Yeah, man. These scriptures are health to your bones, fatness to your bones, roughly paraphrasing. You see? So these scriptures and these laws, statutes, and commandments are good. And hate thou abomination vehemently. So you're supposed to hate abomination with an intense manner. That's what the word vehemently goes into. So going back, let me see if I can get back to my point. Baruch 2 and 2. So the men that are joined with the pharaohs, which the modern day pharaohs are the Edomites. The modern day, let me just correct myself, the modern day pharaoh, the modern day king is the king of Babylon, Babylon the Great, which is the president. And who is in control of the president? The Illuminati, the modern day Chaldeans, you see. So if you are in the cahoots with these people, if you trust these people, they are going to lead you to damnation. They are going to lead you to your destruction. And one of the ways to be destroyed is through famine and plagues and pestilences. You see? So let's go into that word. Oh yeah, that's Kalal Yamlaya Bashameshai. So like I was going into, the Most High, he gives you time to repent. But if you don't want to repent, then this is what's going to happen to you. 2 Ezra 16, verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. You see? And if you go into that word scourges, it means, in the Atom Online, it says, 1200th century, a whip used for inflicting pain or punishment, a lash used for torture. You see, so the Most High is whipping it. He's whipping you. He's chastising you, if you don't want to listen, because he sent out his prophets so you could be saved. You had the time to listen. You had the time to return and to repent. But if you don't repent, then the Most High, as it says, 2 Ezra 16 and 19, behold, famine, which is a hunger, that you're going to die of hunger, and plague, which a plague is a sickness, a illness, tribulation and anguish, those are evil times, bad situations, are sent as scourges for amendment. So when these things hit you, you're supposed to think like, no, man, this, maybe I should listen to the prophets and the servants of the Most High. Let me see. Scourge, French, scourge, a whip, scourge, tongue, to whip, which from vulgar Latin, excorigiar. This is a compound of Latin ex, which is out of, or here, perhaps intensive, rain, to whip. Yeah, man. So basically it's punishment is to be whipped. You see? One who or that which scourges or destroys. What's this? Often for the sake of punishment or purification. Yeah, man. So these things, the plagues and the pestilences, are sent. Yeah, let's go into Jeremiah. Jeremiah 28 and 8. And it reads, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence." You see? So the prophets, when they come and speak the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, is to warn the people. So now we have been doing this, starting with the elders and apostles on down from Great Millstone. They started to prophesy since the 1970s, and we coming in later on, I myself, I'm not so long in the truth, but we are still warning the people before the judgment comes, and this is the judgment of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. He's going to use famine and tribulation and anguish, war, pestilence. That's what the Most High is going to use, to bring judgment upon the earth. And if you heard these words and you don't repent, then you are going to be in the same situation as the ungodly and as these other nations, because they are going to be judged for what they did unto us. You see? Let's go into that word pestilence. That's strange. Let me just disconnect this. Very strange. Slovakia. Okay. Pestilence. 1300th century. Any infectious or contagious disease, fatal epidemic, a plague epidemic, a plague, an unwholesome atmosphere, infected, unwholesome, nauseous, deadly disease, plague or pest. See, pest. Pest, 1550, plague, pestilence, epidemic disease. Deadly, contagious disease, a curse, bane. Any noxious, destructive, or troublesome person or thing. Yeah, man. So a pestilence is a plague. It's a contagious disease. And if you see these diseases that have been popping up left and right, and now I have a news article here where they say that it's through the warm weather, a lot of sicknesses are gonna pop off. You see, this is from times.com. A hotter world means more disease outbreaks in our future. Let me see, by Alice Park, August 10th, 2022. As global temperatures have risen in recent decades, so have the number of outbreaks of infectious diseases. SARS, MERS, Zika, West Nile, C19, and now clusters of Mpox and polio have all recently threatened public health. That's no coincidence. In a study published in August in Nature Climate Change, researchers try to understand the relationship between major environmental changes related to high greenhouse gas emissions. There you go. CO2 emissions, including global warming, rising sea levels, storms, floods, droughts, and heat waves, which we all know that they're using geoengineering to bring forth these rains and these droughts and these floods, and these forest fires are all through dew, which are directed, energized weapons, that they can use to focus on a certain point or in a forest or whatnot, up until the coordinates, they mark these places precisely. So yeah, man. And the outbreaks of 375 human infectious diseases caused by viruses, bacteria, and other pathogens. They found that 58% of these public health threats were fueled by climate change. The health, that's, you see how the devil works, right? He causes something, he turns everything upside down here on earth. He uses his technology, his science, his witchcraft to put everything upside down, and then he's gonna blame it on the climate. But we all know who's in charge. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is in charge, so he put it in their mind to do it like this, so the Most High can turn things up also. So yeah, man, the health impacts of climate change are here, says Dr. Vishnu La Alita Sara Panini, assistant professor of medicine at University of Minnesota, and they are affecting us right here, right now. Viruses and other pathogens are becoming better at living in higher environmental temperatures, scientists say. Instead, it's more likely that the host animals they infect are affected by changing climates. Increasing global temperature, for example, mean that the geographic range of many pathogen-carrying animals, including insects like mosquitoes, is expanding rapidly. As they move around to find better climates, there are more opportunities for viruses to spill over among other mammals and then from some of these mammals to humans, says Gigi Granville, senior scholar at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security at the Bloomberg School of Public Health. In the same way that highways, planes, and trains connect remote parts of the world, these animals are transporting their microbial payloads into new places. Tick-borne diseases are one example of climate impact on human health. With warming temperatures, the habitable environment for ticks is stretching further north into Canada and even Nova Scotia. Neither place has reported cases of Lyme disease, which is carried by ticks, until 2002. Read more, nearly 50% of the people worldwide have had Lyme disease, study says. Let me see. So this goes on. Bats too are expanding onto new territories as they respond to the stress of the climate change. Warming temperatures send them searching for more preferable climes, and their increased movement raises the chances of interacting with people and spreading diseases such as the CF. There is a lot more mixing of populations of animals that haven't been mixed before, says Granville. And this is the last part. Understanding these shifting behaviors or changing habitats requires appreciating that the health of one species is intimately tied to the health of all species. Scientists say devoting more resources to understanding how viruses, bacteria, and other pathogens circulate among different animal species is crucial in order to better understand how their behaviors can impact human health. It's really hard to build bridges between different communities, such as the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, CDC, Center for Disease Control, not for health control, mind you, for disease control. So they control the disease, not your health. And Prevention and Environmental Protection Agency, or Department of Agriculture, Gronful says. But we are going to need a much more integrated approach to tackling research questions that everyone agrees are important. Amen. So that was basically the article. I'm going to put it in the description box also so you can read for yourself. But going back to the scriptures, so the Most High, he sends the plagues. And one of the favorite scriptures that shows you in which time we're living in is Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. So there's going to be wars, racial wars, just like how you have the white supremacists right now, and you have the so-called black supremacists, which there's no such thing like a black supremacist. And you have, so these nations are all going to fight against each other, just like how they were attacking the Moabites when the CV came here, the CV-19, So they were hating on Moab for doing that, for bringing that plague, that pestilence in their land, in America. So for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, which is, you have all these countries there are warring with each other. They can't really seem to get along. And there shall be famines, which there already are famines. There's been a famine in Venezuela for the longest, and pestilences. So we just read about the pestilences that are popping up because of the warm weather, like Esau says, and earthquakes in diverse places. So yeah, man, this is the crucial time that we're living in, right? And the next verse says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So this is only the beginning. So it's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse. You see? So let's go to 2nd Ezra 15 and close it off with that. Second Ezra 15, verse 1. Behold, speak thou into the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Most High. So this is the Most High talking to Ezra, and he says to Ezra, speak to my people. And who are his people? The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites, And the prophets, they use the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, of the Most High, just like how we are, citating the Bible. We are repeating we are reading what is written in the Bible. That's prophesying, saying before something happens. Pro is before, emphasize to say. So we have been saying for the longest that the Most High is going to bring earthquakes and pestilences and evil times here upon earth, famine. You had the time, you heard it, and now the Most High is bringing everything into action, because as he said something and it shall not be done, the words of the Most High don't return unto him void. So the elders of Great Millstone have been telling you for the longest. They have been talking about these things, and the men that heard it in the 30 plus years that the elders and apostles have been teaching it, something snapped in them and they repented, and we joined onto this church, onto this body, the Great Millstone, you see. So the people that had to be woken up, Yahweh Tazah, like the elder apostle Tahar says, the elect is already sealed. They have heard this and they are already sealed, so now it's time for the Most High to bring the second part in action, which now he warned, and now he's going to bring it to fruition. He's going to bring all these pestilences and all these plagues upon the earth. Let me jump to verse 5. Behold, said the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the earth, upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. You see? So now is the time that the Most High is going to be taking action, because their hurtful works have been fulfilled. The time is ripe right now. You see? So the Most High is going to bring famine, the sword, death, and destruction, and plagues upon this place. Jumping to verse 25 and 26. Second Ezra 15, verse 25. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary. For Yahweh Bashem Yahushai knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them into death and destruction. You see, we have been warning you that death and destruction is going to come, and you didn't listen. You keep sinning. You keep sinning in the sight of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Now he's going to bring death and destruction to you. And let me end it off with this verse. I will set plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Let me see. Yeah, this is for Asia, which Asia is the region that Moab lives in, because Moab has been in cahoots with America, with Babylon the Great for the longest. So the Most High didn't forget about them also, just like how the Most High said, Moab is my washpot, right? So they are also going to feel it. The second Ezra 15, verse 46. And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore said the Most High, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. You see? So nobody is safe from the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Oh, you want to be in cahoots with Babylon the Great? You're going to receive of her plagues also, even our people. You see? So, Yahartazah, this video is edifying, and I want to say, Kal Halal Yumla, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem Reka Kodash, Shalom Hakim.